Hi everyone, this is Lorena from the Desk of Lorena. And a few weeks ago when we started this, I promised you that we were going to do some more nail art that had intermediate and advanced designs. So today I'm going to show you guys this really nice design that you can wear through fall and winter and at any time during the year actually. I'm going to show two phases of the nail, and we are just doing the nail art. So the nail has already been pre-done. And what I did was I sculpted out with our Nudite warm pink or cool pink. I believe I used cool pink on myself actually. And then I sculpted out the black free edge. So this nail was actually completely a black free edge when it started. Now to do the design, I'm going to use several colors from our EOCC, which is our Entity 1 Color Couture Soak Off Gel Polish. I started off with our metallics, which are our vintage couture and our contemporary couture, metallic gold and silver. And it's a really easy technique to do this kind of tweed pattern. What I'm going to do is dry brush on this little paper here on the form. Okay, so we're going to begin our nail art. And what we're going to do is you always want to make sure that you keep the monomer here on your table. And I'm using our Entity Success Liquid. And I'm using that to clean my brush so that I can keep the life of my brush and keep it nice and moist. So we're going to start very quickly here. These designs shouldn't take you but a few minutes. I'm going to use our Contemporary Couture, which is our metallic silver out of our EOCC. And I'm going to dry brush that onto the little paper backing of a form. Now with very little product on my brush, I'm going to just swipe down and then across. Okay, same thing with our gold, which is our vintage couture. Wipe off some. And then in random spots, you can go over them or you can go more sporadic. So I'm taking this really dark, rich purple, and it's called Cold Hands, Warm Heart. I love this color, and it looks kind of sheer when you put it over the black and the metallic colors. It looks really nice. Then Make Color Not War, which is one of my very favorite colors out of our summer collection. I'm going to get rid of some of that and really thin it out. So you're almost covering the full black free edge. However, you still see little bits and pieces. Okay, so that's our background there of our design. Now for this portion of the design, all you want to do is take a little drop and place that on that little paper or whichever kind of palette you're working on. Now I'm going to take my white and just stripe that brush through there, making sure that you load it fully and thin it out. Now I'm going to take that brush and just draw really thin lines going vertical and also in random areas, not all the way down, just in some short ones, some long ones, and then I'm going to go across. And I always start with the white first because then you can really see it because it pops, and then go back with your black kind of close to those lines but not completely over them. And doing this texture is going to give you the dimension in your design that you're looking for so that it looks like fabric. And if you really want it to pop, you can actually go in with like your gold or silver and add that in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cure that for just a few seconds, maybe 10. Make sure that those lines stay right where I want them. And then I'm going to go in with one of our new colors and either our Backless and Bold, or actually I'm going to use the silver one, which is our Backless and Bold out of our Holiday Party collection. And I'm just going to only take a little bit of that. And with this nice chunky silver metallic, I'm going to just kind of brush some vertically and then again a little bit horizontally, just following my pattern. And that's it for that portion of the design. You can wear the actual design just like that is beautiful by itself, But if you really want to give it a little more of a blingy look and have this look here, where you kind of put a little cap over the cuticle area, what I did was I made my own opalized stone, and I want to show you how to do that. I'm taking a translucent purple with some glitter out of our Expressions collection. It's called Indigo Ink, and I'm just going to place a bead of that down there. Make sure you use it relatively dry and kind of give it a little pat. If it's too dry, add a little bit more liquid to it. Now, while it's self-leveling out, I'm going to take that in its wet stage, and I'm just going to add a few little mylar pieces or hexagon mylars, just like one or two of maybe 3 different kinds. It's okay if that bead moves a little bit. You're going to let it set up and then pat it back into place. We don't want that stone too big, so if it's too wet and it really opens up and self-levels out, just make sure that you dry out your brush and then go back and work that bead into the shape that you want it. And your stones can be square or rectangle, they can be round. I like to make mine more oval or marquee shape. That's just a personal preference. I'm going to add a couple more little mylar pieces there. Now, as my stone's setting up, I just want to really sharpen up the edges. Now, I'm going to take, and this is one little technique that I know a lot of people want to see or learn how to do. With my Entity Clear Powder, you can also use clear gel if you'd like, whichever you're more comfortable with. I'm going to take a little bead and I'm going to dip it into some metal bullion beads, and I'm going to place it along the edge of the opal stone. Now, you want to make sure that your main portion of that design, the opal stone, is nice and set. Mine's a little wet here, so I'm having to be really careful because I don't want to move it out of place. But you can see that I can still work around it as long as I'm careful. And sometimes if the more bullion beads you pick up at once, it's a little easier. So I have quite a few here on this bead of clear. Now you can see where that looks like a lot, but I'm going to push them all the way around my stone, and it makes it a lot faster process to cover the circumference of that stone. And I'm just going to spread them out so that I can have them nice and evenly around the stone. And once you finish that, then pretty much your stone is done, but the finishing touch is actually to lay a bead of clear over the top, with the higher portion being in the center of the stone. That way it has more of like a dome effect, and you really get the dimension out of your stone. So just a few more bullion beads and we're good to go. Okay, so before I do the actual dome, because I want these bullion beads to set and make sure that they don't move, I'm now going, and it's actually turned out to be a little bit more marquee shape. You can see the point here and the point here. I'm going to just add, also with my clear acrylic, I'm going to put a little bit here and a little bit here just to make sure that I can set some nice crystals or rhinestones right in place. You can also use our EOCC top coat to do that with, or our hard gel, which is our Entity 1. Okay, so our very last portion to this design is going to take a semi-medium size wet bead, more wet than dry, and lay it, whoops, right in the center actually. It just kind of fell over right there, and let it self-level. So you want it to be relatively wet, and if you have to add a little bit of monomer, you can. And don't touch it too much, and that's going to go ahead and do its job just on its own. So we're going to let that dry. And as that's setting, I'm actually going to take our EOCC top coat, and I can top coat my entire nail without top coating the stone right now, because I want to make sure that the acrylic is nice and set and dry, and then you just go over it with some top coat at the end. Okay, so a nice thin coat. Make sure you brush that down of our EOCC top coat. Give that a 30-second cure, and then take our Entity Natural Nail Prep to cleanse the nail. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cure that. And our design's finished, with the exception of top coating the stone. But I show you here the finished product. And there you go for this week's episode of From the Desk of Lorena. Thanks, guys. Hope you liked it.